Real podcast.
So today we had Manny, who is my friend and coach. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Manny, but most people know me as Chief Chikaviro. There's a bit of a story behind that, but we won't get into that too much. I am an online coach. I've studied a diploma in sports and exercise science. I've got my level 3 personal training, and I have a master's in anatomy and physiology. So I'm a bit of a brain box.
That sounds so...
Yeah, we love that. This is good for the podcast. This is why you're on the podcast.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so you coached me. I basically just bombard you with questions. You just throw science at me, don't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think my page is a little bit different from most people's because I go really into the science. And like when I have clients, I want them to understand why they're doing things rather than me just saying, do this, because you're always going to come back with the same question. So when you understand something, moving forwards, if I give you an instruction, you know why you're doing it, and you don't need like constant check-ins to be able to accomplish something.
That's the best way though, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say that's the best type of coaching, because there's no point just being like, do this, do that, if you don't know why you're doing it. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's really good. So we're going to start off by basically, could you tell us a positive thing that's happened to you this week?
Funny that I should say this, but I'm actually taking a couple of days off the gym, and I've been focusing on spending time with friends and family, and then just like getting some real downtime.
That's cute.
That's so nice. You would have thought you'd pre-plan that, considering what we're talking about today.
Oh yeah.
That was off the fly.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so should we get into today's topic then?
Yeah, so today's topic's going to be about rest periods and the impact on training. Because, well, a lot of my clients don't like to take rest because they think that they're not going to make progress.
Yeah.
And it's like detrimental, even though it's detrimental to not take rest. So
yeah, it's literally the complete opposite, isn't it? So yeah, speak to us, give us some knowledge, please.
The thing is, like, one of the things I like doing is I like using analogies to explain stuff, not always go straight into the science.
Give us an analogy.
From a base term, when I look at like when people, there's this massive misconception about rest being such a negative, and I understand, because obviously if you take like 2 weeks off, you're always going to go back and feel a little bit weaker or feel like you've lost some strength or fitness, and it takes like a couple of days to get back into it. But when you compare it to anything else, and for instance, I'll use an analogy. It's like when you're trying to build something up, say cement, you're using cement as the base, right? The cement is not solid, and you can keep stacking it and stacking it and stacking it and stacking it and stacking it. But the problem is it's not firm because you haven't given it time to set. And that's what the training is like. If you're constantly non-stop training, yes, you're building yourself up, but until you rest, nothing is going to stay in position. And that's where people go wrong, because they'll train solidly for like 3-4 months, and then they'll just completely fall off the wagon. Whereas if you train for 4 weeks, you rest, you recover, you build up on yourself, then you train again for 4 weeks, you rest, you recover, and so on and so forth. You're constantly moving yourself along to a point where you're not just going to fall off and go straight back to zero. You're going to be moving down in stages, essentially. And that's like one of the things that happened to me in the first lockdown. I didn't train much, but it took so long for me to lose it because over the years, I have consistently taken rest periods.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that analogy was perfect. And not gonna lie, I probably might steal it. Just throwing it. I'll give you credit, don't worry. But yeah, that's exactly correct. And I think that's where things like deload weeks come in really helpful and handy. So what's your opinion on those?
I don't. My problem is, right? The thing is, right, I feel like if your body is capable of doing something, right, so at a cellular level, your mind-muscle connection that you form when you do an exercise isn't necessarily just about the mass or the fitness or anything like that. It's literally mind-muscle connection. It's your body has created synapses that mean that you can perform a task a lot easier and without really thinking. It's almost autonomous. Like if I go into the gym after a year of not squatting, my form is still going to be there. It's just my actual strength isn't. Then over time, I can get back to it. But the problem with like a deload is you're kind of going backwards. Like you're capable of performing at this level, and then you're going to go down to this level, and then down to this level, and then, what is the point of doing a deload when you know you're at the top? Essentially, I think, for me personally, what's worked over the years is once I hit a certain point, like let's use chest, for example. If I'm training chest and I hit a certain point in chest and I'm like, right, I can't go any further, or I need a rest, or my training is changing, I'm not going to do a deload and then do things that I've already done to build myself up. I'm literally going to take a rest, full stop. Give my body the adequate time to completely recover, get my nutrition in, and then after maybe a week or 2 weeks, go straight back in. And then I'll just build on exactly what I've been working on beforehand without necessarily having to like kind of limit myself for a week or 2 weeks in a deload. It's kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, interesting, because I'm newly converted to a good old deload, aren't I? I hate my deload weeks, but I actually really find them effective for my training. So I think it is all dependent like on the person and their goals, the way they train and stuff. Because what I do is I do like max out overreaching weeks the week beforehand, and then my body's like, I need rest. So that's what I personally do. But I know that for other people, like I only started doing that maybe 6 months ago. And then before that, I never had deload weeks ever. Occasionally I'd get to a point where I was like, shit, I really need like a massive rest, like you said. So I think it's like dependent, I guess.
Like when you say a deload week, what does your deload consist of?
So what I do is I train 5 times a week. So my first 3 days I will do 90% of the weight from my overreaching week and 50% of the reps. And then my last 2 days are 50% of the weight, 50% of the reps, just to kind of keep the body ticking over. So you know how you were saying earlier about when you have like a week or 2 out of the gym, then when you try to get back into it, like your body's stiff, like it's more difficult almost to get back into it. So it's almost just there to keep your body moving to aid recovery. And also you can merge the sessions into kind of one, because obviously when you're doing, for example, on the 50% of the weight and 50% of the reps, they're obviously going to be really short sessions. So you can't just like merge them all into one, or like maybe like 2 or 3 sessions throughout the week, and then rest completely for the rest of the time. Focus on mobility, get your steps in.
And you have your own
coach. Yeah. So I never did it that way beforehand, but then since starting with him, it's actually worked really well for me. What's your opinion on that?
Battle of the coaches.
So
many different ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think your experience as a lifter as well, and like you say, is based on your goals. A deload does have its place sometimes in a competitive element. Yes, makes sense. For the average gym goer, a deload week doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
because like when you go in and you warm up, the warm up is not what's making you grow. It's not really doing anything. You're just like preparing your body for activity. Now, when you do a deload week, because the things you're doing are so, I wouldn't say so easy, but it's not a struggle. You're not pushing yourself. You've already formed those muscle fibers, that mind-muscle connection, those synapses, they're already formed. So you're not building on anything. You're just doing something you've already done. And in a way, it's kind of like, yes, it can help aid recovery because you're constantly doing something. However, what's more effective, having a complete rest and then going in and then, pushing yourself back up? Because everyone should progressively overload if you have the goal of improving your fitness, whatever that is, strength, speed, stamina. You want to be progressively overloading. So if you take a week off and you drop down by 2, 3, 4 kilos, it's not going to take you long to get back up. And like we say, for us, fitness is a lifestyle, isn't it? So it's not like I'm going to stop once I hit a certain barrier. I'm going to carry on. So taking a week off, I think, is good, just because it gives you ample time to focus on other things. Like this week, I'm spending time with friends and family. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worrying about going to the gym for half an hour for a deload, for instance, because I'm like, do you know what? I'm just taking a break.
I just listen to my body. Like, if like I can't go as heavy one day because my body's just not feeling it, then I'll just do whatever I can. If I'm not hitting the same weights each week or progressing, I don't get angry at myself. Like, if my
of course not.
Like,
it's like what one guy asked me in the gym, he was like, how have you come back and like maxed out certain machines? And I'm like, dude, I'm training for 10 weeks, right? If I start at 40 kgs and then I increase it by 2 kgs every single week, and you're coming in and you're doing 40 kgs every single week for 10 weeks, at the end of 10 weeks, I'm going to be far ahead and you're going to be in the same position. And then you're going to be looking and going, how is he there? And it's like, it doesn't have to be excessive, but it's just consistent, isn't it?
Exactly.
I liked what you did on your story where like you trained for a little bit, didn't like it, went home. I've done that.
Yeah, you legend.
Can you?
That's what I say. We've literally both spoken about this in like the past 2 weeks, haven't we?
I did 2 exercises, but that's because like
I did 2 exercises and left. I did hip thrusts and lunges, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going home."
yeah, but we didn't feel well, did we?
No, we didn't feel well, but still.
That's why rest is important.
But we didn't beat ourselves up over, like, we're just like, you know what, we're not feeling it, so we're just gonna go home. Like, do you know what I mean?
Because rest is more important, and rest is actually going to benefit us more in the long term than for us to stay there and punish ourselves and put our bodies through something that actually is going to harm it in the like process, I guess.
Yeah, if I'm not feeling up for the gym, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
And that's
so
not
here's
being
the thing,
lazy.
right? So on your like basis of a deload, do you ever have an actual just a rest week, or is it literally train, deload, train, deload, train?
So I do generally 5 weeks on, 1 week off. But when I say off, that's my deload. But for example, I had a deload the week before last, and I went to the gym once. And the time that I went to the gym once was this session that we were just talking about, where I literally did 2 exercises, was like, I'm not feeling it, and then didn't go. And I do mobility 4 times a week just because my mobility is awful. I did that at home, and that was my week. So as it happens, I took basically a whole week off for rest. But it kind of, like I said, I'm very like flexible with my approach to it. So although I have like a strict plan to follow, I'm not going to sit there and get caught up over small parts of it. At the end of the day, like I want this to be a consistent lifestyle for me. And that's never going to be the case if I'm sat there like doing everything perfectly, because life isn't perfect. God, that was deep.
No, that makes sense. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, if you want fitness to be a lifestyle, you have to think about sustainability. And in this instance, when we talk about deload, it makes sense. But when you're 40 or 50, are you going to be able to train every single week throughout the year because of a deload? Probably not. You're going to need time. What happens if you want to go and see people? You want to go up to, I don't know, Scotland for a week. You want to go to America for a week. You want to go, like, do you want to be worrying about training? Oh,
No.
I've got to do my deload. Or do you literally want to go, right, I'm going to time my training. So when I go on holiday, I am doing nothing. I'm just enjoying myself.
Exactly. And you've got that literally so spot on, because that's the thing, is like, it is life. And for everything, I think, within the fitness world, it should be, especially for Gen Pop, it should be so flexible and almost easy to do. So you should never be sat there being like, oh my God, every single day, like stressing about what you have to get done within your fitness.
Yeah.
Because of course, in your sessions, you should be pushing yourself hard. You should be putting your all into it if you can. But the actual overall view of it should not be difficult.
Exactly. And life is more than just going to the gym. Like, you need to enjoy life. And
it's like, sorry, what?
I was about to say,
there's more to life than the gym?
No, there's...
my life is the gym. But apart from that...
No, but there's actually people who, like, are so gym obsessed that, like, they don't go out, which is fine. Like, I'm not a massive going out person. Like, I'm basically a granny these days. But, like, you know, if I have plans to see family, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, yeah, but I need to go to the gym. Yeah, exactly. And on a holiday, like, I don't really gym. Like, in Switzerland, I went to the gym like twice. Yeah. And it was like such a shit gym. But like, I didn't really care. I was just like...
I was away for 3 weeks over the summer and I took all my gym stuff with me. And I kind of said, you know what? If I fancy going to the gym, I'll go to the gym. If I don't, I don't. I went and I did 3 sessions each week. And actually I came back with bigger glutes than when I left. So I was like, yeah.
3 times a week on holiday is really good.
Yeah, but that was purely just because I enjoy it, not because I felt like I had to, felt like I needed to. So, could you quickly, I know this is like, we probably should have done this at the beginning, but could you quickly just talk anyone listening who doesn't know through the benefits of rest and why rest is important?
I would say, obviously, one of the major benefits of rest for anybody who does anything that is strenuous to the body is it gives you time to recover. And of course, you only grow when you recover. I think a lot of people always get it confused. They think the growing is done in the gym, it's done outside the gym. If you train 6 days in a week and then you rest 1, most of your growing is going on that day you're not in the gym.
Yeah.
So that is one of the key benefits. Obviously, the other things is if you rest adequately, you can maintain peak performance for longer periods. Like if you do heavy deadlift, the next week you're not going to be able to hit the same level of power, strength, everything like that because your central nervous system is going to be completely shot. So you do need rest.
Yeah, that's like me.
Yeah.
My back's in bits. Not in like an injured way, but like just because I did such heavy deadlifts and like I'm not planning on doing heavy deadlifts like every back session. Like just not.
Yeah, it's silly. It's not once again that key word sustainability. It's not sustainable.
No.
Exactly. And I used to have deadlifts on my 4th training day and I just found that by the time I got to that session I couldn't lift anything because I was so, not beaten up, but I was so fatigued, I guess, from my first 3 sessions of the week. So now we've moved that to day 2 and it's working so much better for me because then I can actually get a good output on my deadlifts, but it's still not affecting me too badly for the rest of my sessions. So it's all about swapping things up to see what works for you and your goals and stuff.
Once I saw this meme, right? And it was,
love a meme.
Treat your body how you treat your iPhone when it's on low battery.
That's true.
And that just makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
So much sense. Like you wouldn't go out for the day with your iPhone on 10% charge. So don't do that with your body. Do you know what I mean? Your body needs rest. You need to be 100%.
And if it is on 10% charge, you're there. You're turning it to low power mode. You're like closing all the apps. You're making
reserving the energy.
Yeah, you're reserving it.
You're doing everything you can to make, and that's what we need to do with our bodies. You need to take rest. You need to eat food. You need to unwind. You need to do things you enjoy. Don't stress yourself.
And sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And sleep. Sleep is so, so, so important. And I'm not the best at...
We love sleep, don't
we? We love sleep, but we're awful at getting it, I'd say.
We go to bed so late and get up
so
late.
Yeah. Maddie actually texted me the other day saying that she said that we need to get a morning routine. I think
that's overrated.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, sure, we'll get a morning routine if we happen to wake up in the morning.
We do our podcast like in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because we're not morning people.
Yeah, so I think we'd probably be angry if we'd be fuming.
It's
See, this is the thing. I wake up really early. I wake up at like 6 a.m.
It's mad.
But do you do that for your job?
No.
Do you have a choice? No. Okay, you do it because you choose to.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that, you know.
Yeah, I've tried.
Once again, it's habit, isn't it? It's just habits.
Yeah, but for school, like, we had to. But like, I was
a zombie.
I was a zombie. I'd wake up and I'd be like dead. Like,
but do you know what? When I went, this was a couple of years ago. I went on holiday to Mauritius, and the obviously the time hours are different. So I ended up waking up so early on all of the days, and what I do is I go down to the beach to like watch the sunrise and stuff like that, which was so nice. And then for the first few weeks when I came back, I was like, you know what, I'm going to stick with it. And I did for the first few weeks, and I felt amazing waking up so early in the UK, and I got so much done and I was so productive. And then obviously fell back into my old ways. My problem is I'm productive in the evenings and at night time, so I get my best work done at night.
Right.
We've digressed. I'm sorry.
Question. Can you explain the difference between regular and active rest?
I think you perfectly summed that up with a deload, really. Active rest is when you're doing things that aren't so strenuous that you're going to be drained. So, for instance, if you're a long distance runner and you're doing, 5K per week, and you're doing, 2K days, 1K days, an active rest would then be going for a walk, for an hour, or doing an incline walk.
So
it's
more
where
like
you're
cardio, not cardio, but like less weights.
It's just whatever you do, like the very base version of it. So if you're a competitive cyclist, then you cycle on a low pace at a slow speed, or even mobility days, like you mentioned earlier. Like I'll do those if I've had like a really heavy back session, and then it's my rest week the following week, because obviously I do heavy deads once every 3 weeks. So I kind of allow my body to rest over that period. But then I'll have a proper rest week where I don't train or whatever every 12 weeks. So in that time, I tend to have like a 1 week of mobility work. So like on chest day, I'll go in and I'll do very, very light exercises just to, stretch out the fibers, get like almost like yoga, but in the gym.
Nice.
Gym yoga.
Exactly. And also doing very light work does actually help recover the muscles, because you're getting everything like the blood and oxygen pumping to the muscles to help them recover, which is great.
Definitely. No, that's actually perfect. That's actually perfect. That I think I went a massive roundabout way to explain what you just did in one sentence.
He literally just like stared at you.
I was like, I know I'm not wrong, but I was like, am I wrong?
No, it was like the perfect explanation. It was like the simplest explanation.
No, it's okay. We love the analogies, and we love the conversation, so it's great. I was going to ask something that I've completely forgotten.
I've got a question. So rest periods between sets, what is your thoughts? Like, do you time them? Do you think it's important to time them? How long, etc.?
Let's talk about your rest periods between sets. What are your rest periods like?
Well, personally, I don't time them because I just listen to my body. Like, obviously, I don't let myself just go on my phone for 20 minutes between sets. Like, I'm with it, but I'm not gonna. If I need more than 3 minutes rest, I'm gonna have to do more than 3 minutes rest. But it also depends on like the style of training. If I'm doing strength training, I may need like 10 minutes. If I'm doing a PB, I'm not gonna be able to like bash it out in 3 minutes. Like, do you know what I mean? So it actually depends. But like, normally, I'm so used to like training that I just kind of just do it whenever. But I do understand why people time their rest, and I do think it's good. I think it puts too much pressure on me, and like if I need more, then I'm gonna have more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I'm similar to that, but I do time my rest breaks just because it keeps me like in check.
It is good.
I have been known to to have conversations or go on my phone and then realize it's been 10 minutes later and I'm like, shit, I need to.
If you get distracted, then obviously like it's good.
Or if you're short on time, it's a really good way to keep you focused and keep you just like to get in, do the session, get out again. I think that's really useful as well.
But do you time your rests?
So I'm like a mixture, because I feel like there's like 3 different ways you can go about rest in between sessions. You've got people who time, and like you can time your rest periods, just keep yourself in check. It's something that's measurable. So over 10 weeks, if you haven't made progress, you can change. That's one of the things you can change. You can say, right, I can increase my rest period, or I can reduce it to make the sessions more intense. Then you've got people who don't care at all whatsoever. They'll go on their phone, chat to Billy for about 10 minutes, whatever. They're not too fussed. Then you've got people who intuitively take rest.
That's like, me.
If you did an exercise and it took a lot out of you and you need a little bit longer, then take a little bit longer. If you don't need it, if you don't need more time, then by all means, go straight in.
Yeah, well, I'm ready.
I train quite intense, so I superset everything, and the superset is my rest.
What's that?
Oh, that's no. I don't do supersets.
Yeah, so like, say chest day, I do dumbbell press. I'll superset that with bicep curls. But I'll do slow curls, nice controlled reps. But then by the time I've done that and the blood's flowed to my arms and my heart rate's reduced a little bit, then I go back onto chest. But instead of wasting time in the gym, where if I look at it and go, okay, I had 10 minutes of rest, for on Monday, 10 on Tuesday, over a week, that's an hour I've lost standing around. Whereas I could have used that hour for something else. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a major movement.
But that's different to like doing incline press and then chest flies. Like that's a different muscle group. Do you know what I mean? So you're not like your chest is still like resting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so that's a different kind of like superset. But like,
yeah, I'm definitely a mixture of all 3 types of people.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to be.
If people come up to you in the gym, you can't be like, oh, sorry, I've got like 30 seconds left. Well, you can, but like.
Well, yeah, I was going to say sometimes that's perfect.
Depends who it is.
Yeah, that's true.
To be fair, it's a good way to like get rid of someone, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I was about to say, if anyone who I go to the gym with now listens to this, they're going to be like, oh my God, that time that Grace was like, oh, I've only got 30 seconds left, you need to go away now. They're going to be like, what was she? I know what she was thinking.
Yeah, well, sometimes, like, I don't know, when I'm ready, I'll do the next set. Like, I don't really deep it that much, but obviously I know, like, the benefits to timing it, and I know that I shouldn't take, like, 10-minute rest if I don't need it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the perfect way is if you train with somebody, you literally don't take rest, but your rest is whilst they're doing the exercise.
Yeah, that's me. Because I train.
That's because you literally just non-stop. Because always when you train with somebody, it's always going to be longer anyway.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you won't be in the gym for 2 hours from a 1 hour session because you're taking so long. Like, you shouldn't be in and out.
I never train by myself, so that's basically.
Yeah, I find the sessions when I do train by myself, and like that's like, because quite a lot of the time I'll train in the gym and there'll be like my friends there as well. They'll be doing their own sessions, but there's like in between chat and stuff. But the sessions where I actually go completely by myself, I'll be like, oh my gosh, this session that I normally get done, let's say in an hour and a half, I'm doing it in an hour.
Yeah, it is way better.
It shows you just how much that rest isn't actually needed sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because it's not like proper rest, I guess. It's just rest because you're being lazy.
You have to wait. Yeah, but you have to wait for the next person.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, my uni lecturer used to say to us when we, so we did like VO2 max training and everything like that. And he'd say, if you can talk, then you're not training hard enough. So that's that. Like, I have that ethos with me even to this day. Like, if I'm in the gym and I have time to talk, then I'm not having an efficient workout. Like, I should be absolutely on my knees, ready to go home after every session.
Yeah, like after squats, like my heart rate's like,
I know.
I can't have a conversation with someone. Like I'm on the floor, like panting. I'm like, I need
that's
to
the
like.
Same with me. Like after deadlift, squats, like all my big compounds. If I can talk afterwards, like
That wasn't
that was warm up set as far as I'm concerned. Like
I literally am dying on the floor, like drinking. Like
I think we've all seen it. You know, like you see somebody like do an exercise, they get off completely fine, they just walk off, and then they're like on their phone, and it's like you're not gaining anything from that. Like,
no, if you don't look like you've just died after like squats,
I want somebody to come over and be like, "Are you all right, mate?"
That's me. Like I'm like,
"Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah."
When was it that we were literally like lying on the floor because we were like walking lunges? It was
walking lunges. Me and Grace are like passed out on the floor, like no.
We were just like lying there like this, and we were like, we can't move.
That's the best. Collapsing after walking lunges, you know you've done them correct.
Literally,
oh God, they are horrendous.
Walking lunges are hell.
Yeah,
they're good. And also when you can't feel legs and you're like you can't walk, that is the best feeling.
So I made a mistake the other day of doing them. So I normally do them with dumbbells, but I was like, you know what? It was really empty. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use the bar because then I can get away with hopefully not like knocking people out.
Yeah.
So I used the bar and I was like, all fine, all fine. I was maybe like 1 to 2 reps off of failure. I got to the end and I was like, I don't know if I can get the bar off me. And I just got there and I was like, what am I going to do? So I had to do like, luckily I did like a proper like.
What was the weight? What was the weight?
It was only like 30.
Yeah, but
literally.
Shoulder pressing that after.
Yeah, after doing, how many reps I do? I did 20 per leg.
Yeah, that's hard.
Honestly. I literally was like stood there and I was like, there's barely anyone around. I was like, either this is going to crumble me and I'm just going to be crushed to the floor.
You should have walked to like a rack and then just like.
I just luckily I like managed to jump it up and then like it just went flop on the floor. Like I was like, no, dead.
God. Wow.
Yeah, I know. So another thing, so we kind of mentioned earlier that we have both recently had sessions where we were feeling unwell and so we actually left the gym after doing 2 exercises. So this is something that I'm like very passionate about, but obviously exercising puts stress on your body. When you're ill, it puts stress on your body. So what's like your opinion on training when you're ill or like not feeling it or stuff like that?
So obviously I know from the science that when you train, you attack your central nervous system, your body is depleted, and you're more susceptible to injury and illness, right? Because your body is just drained and it's putting all the focus on trying to repair and recover. However, when I'm ill, the first thing that I do is I go for like the hardest session ever. Like I'll go and do pad work or I'll go for a sprint. And that always, for whatever reason, clears me up.
Really?
Like if I start to get a cough, I absolutely cane myself. And I can like physically feel it coming out of me.
That's mad.
Is that because I was going to say originally before you said like it clears you up, like it clears the illness. I was going to say, well, obviously it's going to make you feel better because the endorphins and stuff. But to actually get rid of it, fair play.
I've had it so many times where like you know like in those early days where you're getting a cold and like you can't really train. So once again, going back to rest, this is where I know I can't go to the gym. I can't lift weights because I'm gonna be weak. Yeah. But then I'll switch it up and I'll do something high impact, high intensity, like running, like boxing. And that always clears me up. Always feel good after it.
That's mad.
Yeah. It's all right if the answer is no. Do you know any of the science behind that? Or is that just like experience?
It's just experience. I mean, the science is contradictory, isn't it? Yeah. The science would suggest otherwise. The only thing I could say of that basis would be maybe you're dispelling some of the molecules that are binded to your lungs when you're, like when you're pushing yourself to your absolute limits and you're literally dispelling all this oxygen constant and you're getting in a fresh supply and you're rehydrating, you're flushing yourself out. you're probably getting rid of a lot of the toxins that are causing the illness in the first place. Because you know, when people get ill, they do a cleanse. You know, they do a juice cleanse. You go to the sauna, steam room. You feel better. I'm just doing that, but through exercise.
Yeah, but then that might work for you, but then not someone else.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, I mean, it's down to experience, because somebody else might do the same thing and then make themselves worse.
Yeah,
I know I have a good recovery rate, so I know that works for me, but it won't necessarily work for somebody else. And again, science, everyone's biology is different. So,
what would your thoughts be on? Obviously, you're not a girl and you don't have periods and stuff, but do you think training on your periods like a good idea? As in, obviously, it can help with pain, but do you think you should just like have a complete rest?
No, because see, I know a lot of people talk about shaping training around a woman's period and stuff like that, but I don't think that you should kind of tuck it under like that. I don't think like you should overlook a period and just go, just get on with it and carry on training. Like, oh, we'll just reduce the weights. I feel like it's coming. Why not take that opportunity to have that rest? Like, do you know what I mean?
That's so true. Because I personally can't go to the gym on my period. Like, I just can't.
It's not just about your fitness either. It's about your mental health.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're going to be struggling, what is the point? Like, you're doing more harm than good.
Sometimes when I'm on my period, like especially in like the first day or two, I'm literally I have so many cramps that I literally can't move. Other times, so like last week, for example, was last week? No, oh my god, no! Like 3 days ago, for some reason I decided to go to the gym, and it made me feel 10 times better. Like, I don't know if it's the endorphins or whatever, but it helped. It completely stopped my cramps and everything. So I think it is very much like listen to your body. If you feel 100% like you can go and you'll be fine and it's going to make you feel better, then 100% do it. But equally, if you, like you said, if you know you're going to be in a bad place mentally, it's going to hurt you, you're actually just going to be there having a shit time, feeling shit, don't go.
Yeah, because sometimes the pain's that bad, like that even endorphins can't. Like when painkillers don't work, endorphins aren't going to work. Like,
I think it's good that we're touching on the mental health a lot, because the problem has been that people they separate mental health to fitness, and it's like, no, you should be happy, you should be enjoying yourself.
I'm not going to do something if it makes me sad.
Yeah. The only thing that you should struggle with is the exercise, not the wanting to be there. And people are like, oh, how do you get motivated? You don't get motivated. You either are or you're not. You either have a goal or you don't. It's as simple as that.
Like, no one's forcing you to go to the gym. If you don't want to go, don't go. Like,
everyone works. Well, I say everyone, but the majority of people work a 9 to 5. You're not motivated to go to work. You have to go to work, so you go to work. It's the same thing. If you want something, you want bigger glutes in the gym, you don't have to be motivated. You just have to have a plan and then do it. And that's it. Yeah. Simple.
And I think with like so many people in particular, like Gen Pop, like with me personally as a coach, I say to my clients, like, okay, ideally, we need to find you something that you enjoy doing. So potentially what they enjoy doing versus their goals. So for example, let's say they want to grow big glutes. They might enjoy doing yoga. That's over here. But obviously, to grow big glutes, you need to do like hypertrophy training. So I then try to find like a way to include things that they enjoy doing, so they're more encouraged to go while still getting to their goals. And at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to have to turn around to them and be like, okay, well, if these are your goals and you really want to do them, then sometimes you potentially might have to do something that you don't enjoy. But it depends how much you want to reach that goal or not.
Yeah,
and if possible, try to make it as enjoyable as possible for them, because that's the way they're going to stick to it. They're never going to stick to it if they don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I once saw a study where I can't remember who it was, but someone said that like you have more strength when you're on your period or something. I don't know how true this is, but I definitely read it.
It's different points in your cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go too in depth about it. It's not my area to talk on, because I'm not that versed on it. However, there are points in your period where you're stronger and points where you're weaker. So yeah, I mean, if you're that into it, you can find it. But
well,
my stance on it is, whenever I've had a female client, my stance is always the training. I don't obviously ask, oh, so when is your cycle? I literally say, so when I label my training, I label them as days rather than, I don't say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And then there's obviously a rest period in. Now, I will leave it up to their own discretion when they take the rest period, and you just let me know. And you say, look, this is where I finished off. I'm now taking a rest because I don't want to train. Okay. And then we pick up when you then come back. Simple as.
Perfect. I completely agree with that.
So regarding, obviously, it depends what your training style is, whatever. How many rest days would you recommend a week?
I don't think necessarily it's down to training style. I think it's down to experience. If you can, so like the way I train, everything is very meticulous. So I'll train chest on Monday and Friday. There's 72 hours in between those 2 chest days. And that means that my chest is fully recovered. It only takes 48 hours for a muscle group to fully recover. Now, I'll then train legs Tuesday and Saturday. Again, there's a 72-hour gap. Back on Wednesday, rest on Sunday, shoulders on Thursdays. Obviously, shoulders are engaged with everything. That, for me, has worked. 1 rest day. However, you have to build up to that. Like, it's not, you can't just go in and be okay with that. So I think the general consensus is you need at least 2 rest days per week.
If you're bulking and you go to the gym 6 times a week, then obviously like you need to eat more, right? Because you're burning more calories.
Yeah, I think if you're in a bulking phase, for instance, I wouldn't even recommend going to the gym six days a week.
Yeah, like I went 4, didn't I?
Yeah, 4 is a smart way. It's smart. You either push yourself harder and eat more, which means you have less time overall because you're training for longer and you're having to eat more, and it's going to cost you more. Or you train less, so you're active less, but in those sessions you push yourself and then you eat.
That's the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, it's like when, I'm sure you guys have it as well, but when clients come to you and they go, right, so I have to train like 5 times a week, right? You're like, no, you don't. As long as you've got enough volume for each muscle group within the sessions, it can be split over, you can literally have this almost this identical program put into 3 days or 5 days or 4 days or whatever.
Yeah.
You're getting that volume there and the intensity's there and you're eating right. It doesn't matter if you're doing 3 or 5 days, you'll get your goals.
We had that conversation before, didn't we, Claudia? I think it was one of your clients wanted to go on something stupid like 1,500 calories or something like that to cut. And it's like, that's not even necessary. Train more and just eat like a normal person. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to eat 1 grape a day to lose weight. Just exercise more.
But it's like, you know, when I did that, the Texas method strength program, I literally went to the gym like 3 times a week.
I love the Texas method. It's like my favorite.
Just did squats, bench and deadlift, and leg press.
Yeah.
But like, I only went 3 times a week, and yes, it's so weird only going 3 times, and obviously only doing squat, bench and deadlift. But like, it doesn't, just because I'm going 3 times doesn't mean like I'm not. Like, I made the most progress I've ever made strength wise in doing that than going like 5 times a week.
I remember there was a lot of controversy at the beginning about its effectiveness.
With who? Like,
no, we won't.
Okay.
Let's move on. Not with me. Let's move on. But yeah.
Woo!
Manny, why did you do this to me?
I just put a bit of flavour on the Zoom meeting.
Not with me. Manny, I always listen to you, Manny.
Yeah, you do.
I have a lot of questions, but that's good. Like, if you have questions, that means you're like wanting to like know more. Like, it's not like.
I love when my clients ask me things. I'm like, ask me more.
I literally ring Manny in the gym. I'm like, I can't do deadlifts today. Like, like I just don't feel up for it. And he's like, yeah, just don't do them then. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, clown. Oh God, uni days.
Should we do some quick fire questions?
Yes. Right, we're gonna do some fire questions.
Don't know if I'm ready. All right, go on.
Okay. Do you wanna?
If you're wondering, these are blue light glasses because the light in this room is like there is a lot of light.
If anyone doesn't know, Manny's a gamer.
Yeah,
I am a gamer. Such a gamer. Look at my rig, bro. Look at my rig.
He's got the TikTok lights.
Yeah, he's got, what are they called? Strip light? No.
RGB strip lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, strip lights. They are called strip lights.
Wait, so can you make them like flash and stuff?
Yeah.
You're such a TikToker.
I'm actually so cool. Actually so cool.
TikTok?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, you're not. He has a TikTok.
I can even my the actual light up there as well.
It's a colourful one.
That's mad.
Yeah, I can change the colour of this room.
Wow. Okay, right. Let's just go.
Squats and deadlifts.
Deadlifts.
Okay. Morning session or evening session?
Evening session.
I'd say something else.
What?
Morning sex or evening sex? I like them both. I take them both.
Wait, did you think I wrote that?
No, because you said mornings. And I was like, where is it? I was like, this podcast is taking a quick turn.
This is a step bro podcast. Okay.
Okay. Protein shake or protein bar?
Ooh, protein shake.
Okay. Bulk or cut?
Bulk.
This is Claudia's question, by the way. Oh no, we got the giggles.
Every podcast we get the giggles.
Oh, it's really bad.
I'm thinking the question's really bad.
No,
it's not even bad.
Or blondes.
Pardon?
Brunettes or blondes?
Brunettes.
I'm a natural brunette, so I'll still take it.
Alright, winning.
Woo! That's all of them.
Wait, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Pre-workout or no pre-workout?
No pre-workout.
Oh.
Pre-workout or Monster?
Monster.
Monster or Red Bull? I'm on a roll here.
Monster.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Rest day or training day?
Training day.
Yeah. I thought he was going to get really deep, like, yeah, but without rest days,
No, I love training. I don't like rest day at all.
Don't you feel lost? You're like, what am I doing with my life?
I do. I'm like, what? But I like the fact you have time to do stuff. I just dislike the fact that you're not training. Like, if I don't have a sick pump on, I don't feel right. I feel lost.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. If anyone listening wants to find out more about you, where should they go?
Basically, you can check out my OnlyFans. Nah, just check me out on Insta, Chief Chikaviro. You probably won't know how to spell it, so I'm sure they'll link that for you. But yeah, like, my page is very scientific. Like, yes, there's a lot of pictures, but there is a lot of informative text underneath explaining certain principles and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So if you wanted to self-educate, my page is the best place to go.
Yeah.
I'm like a sexy Wikipedia. You know what I'm saying?
Wikipedia.
I'm a sexy Wikipedia.
Thank you so much, and we'll have to have you back on again soon.
We'll have another. You can be like our science
guru.
Yeah, and we'll think of another topic, and you can just throw facts at us.
Yeah,
right,
another knowledge bomb. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Bye.
me. Peace.